When's it ever going to stop raining?
Oh, I wish I knew, David. Still, there's nothing we can do about it, so you come and eat your pineapple.
Thanks for the empty tin, Mum. What's a pineapple tree look like?
Oh, how many more questions? You ask your father.
Dad?
Pineapple tree? Never seen one.
But you've been to Australia.
Yeah, but I've never seen a pineapple tree, because there's no such thing.
But...
Here, I'll show you. Well, let's see. Where are we? Ah, yes, here we are. Queensland pineapple plantation. Now, you just imagine, David. Thousands and thousands of pineapples. Yes, David, thousands and thousands of pineapples. And they are planted in long, straight rows to catch the sun on the hillsides. Now, there are your trees. They're not trees at all. And I can tell you those leaves are sharp. I know. I used to help with the harvest myself when I was a boy in Queensland. I was about your cousin Jack's age then, working my way around the country just as he's doing now. Oh, you really earn your money picking pineapples. I expect Jack's finding that out. It's tough going under that hot sun, especially when you're new to it. And you're always ready to knock off for a spell in the shade. It doesn't take long to learn about a country when you're working in it and getting to know the people working with you. I wonder if Jack's making as many blunders as I did at first.
Hey, where's the hole?
Now, don't laugh, David. You thought they grew on trees.
Where does the hole come from?
Well, if you follow a pineapple on its short, eventful journey into the tin, somewhere along the line, you'll see the hole cut into it. You just imagine a cannery, David. A huge modern factory which does nothing but pack pineapples into tins. More than 50 million pineapples are processed by Northcote Cannery near Brisbane in just 1 year. And every one of them must be perfect. Turning 50 million pineapples into millions of tins of slices and juice is quite a complicated business. There you are, that's how it's done. Skinned and cored in one operation, then sliced, tinned and sent away. Sealed up, sunshine and all, until you shake the slices out of the tin onto your plate.
Come on, Jack, jump in.
Boys are a restless lot. They like to travel, to see things, to do things. In Australia, I was always on the move. And Jack's the same, picking up rides across the country, following the jobs. After the pineapples, there's the sugar harvest, which starts with the burning of the cane fields. The fire doesn't harm the sugar cane. In fact, when it's over, you can see nothing but cane all the way up the valley. The thick undergrowth's been burnt away, and the fields are clear for the cane cutters. You can find where the cutters are working by following the train tracks. They take portable lines with them into the cane fields. You can't become a cane cutter overnight. It's really tough work. The cutters usually work in gangs of 4 to 8 men, chopping and loading all day in the fierce heat. The little puffing billy cane trains carry the stalks to the crushing mills. need that sugar. They eat 500,000 tons of it, all on their own every year, and export many thousands of tons more. It may surprise you, David, to learn just what Australia does export. Take wine, for instance. 1 million gallons come to England every year. Some of the finest table wines in the world. The grape harvest seems to stretch across the continent. Thousands of miles of vineyards from Queensland to South Australia. You know, it's this vastness, the wide open spaces you're always hearing about, that most people associate with Australia. When I was in Queensland, I used to stay on a cattle station which would hold the whole of Yorkshire quite comfortably. That should be wide and open enough even for Jack. He's always been rather pleased with himself on horseback. Do you remember, David? But he'll be learning a thing or two from those Aboriginal stockmen. Great herds of cattle, 1,000 and more in one mob, travel the stock routes to the railheads. Often they're on the road for months at a time, grazing as they go. Yeah. Can be a great life for a young chap in the Australian bush.
Oh, but it's not all bush, you know.
What about the towns? There must be some.
Towns? Oh, yes, of course there are towns. Sydney and Melbourne, in fact, are cities, as big as any in the British Isles, except London, of course. When you arrive in Sydney by sea, you sail in through Sydney Heads, and then suddenly, there you are in the calm of the harbour. And the early morning mist is just lifting off the city. The Sydney Jack saw for the first time is very different from the one I knew. It's growing fast, pushing upwards in clean straight lines of glass and concrete, all dominated by the huge steel arc of the bridge. The Sydney Harbour Bridge. Now, you've seen pictures of that often enough. You steam slowly past the yachts and the ferries, tugs and launches, all the traffic of a harbour city, to berth in the heart of the city itself. Alongside you at the wharves, ships are being loaded with Australian goods for ports all over the world. There's butter from the dairy herds along the coast, prime beef from the plains of the inland, wool from the great sheep stations across the country, and canned fruits from all over Australia. Queensland, the Murray Valley, Murrumbidgee Irrigation Area, the Goulburn Valley in Victoria, all the produce of a rich country. A growing country that depends on new people, new energy, new ideas, to make and keep it rich. There's hard work behind this great flow of goods. Australians make good use of their soil, their sunshine, and their rain. When Jack was in Shepparton in the Goulburn Valley, he was the only one who grumbled about the rain. He soon learned better. It's good for the fruit crop, people always said when I was there. You know, it's a funny thing about the rain. They pray for it all year, except harvest time. If it comes then, it can mould the fruit and ruin the crop overnight. Well, you can't stop the rain, but a cup of tea with pleasant company always helps. It was in Shepparton Jack discovered there are two sorts of peaches. One is a luscious, juicy fruit, and the other, well, you'll find out one day, David. Even though its rain is rare and precious, Shepparton in the Goulburn Valley is Australia's most important fruit growing and canning centre. People make a good living there from the fruit crop. Jack will be just as comfortable there as we are here. Water conservation is the answer, because once the orchardist has enough water, that wonderful sunshine and rich soil do the rest. Every spring, miles and miles of blossom cover the orchards like snow. But if it weren't for the irrigation ditches running between the trees, every single bloom of it would die. And from the blossom comes the fruit. Irrigation hoards and controls the precious water and spreads it where it'll do most good. There's plenty of work to keep you going in an orchard. Even the children give Dad a hand, when he's not too busy, that is. I remember those long, peaceful days in a canoe on the Goulburn River. On a summer's day, the bush seems to buzz and simmer in the heat. Sometimes you can see the birds in the leafy gums on the riverbank. And sometimes you can only hear their calls. In my day, an Australian river was an elusive thing. Some of them disappeared completely in the dry season, but that's changing more and more. Water's the country's lifeblood, and there are vast new projects for conserving it. The huge Snowy Mountain scheme alone will harness an additional 2 million acre-feet of water every year for irrigation and power production. It's typical of Australia and its strange contrasts that this enormously active development scheme should be helping to preserve those long, lazy river days. At harvest time, the fruit pickers move from centre to centre, around the Goulburn and Murray valleys, and into the Murrumbidgee irrigation area, with its main town of Leeton, and another bumper crop of peaches. Though sometimes you can only think of the peaches you left behind. But when you're young, in the sun at picking time, it's hard to be serious about anything for very long.
They're picking up the Goulburn by the Murrumbidgee side, where apricots are golden and peaches are their pride. We've got to get the fruit picked and off to London town. We've got to get the fruit tinned before the sun goes down. Picking up in Queensland in a tropic island heat, and the pineapples in Queensland suit a sovereign, they're so sweet. We've got to get the fruit picked and off to London town. We've got to get the fruit tinned before the sun goes down.
Gosh, Mum. Lovely fruit.
You know where that comes from, don't you?
Australia.